이번에는 나라 밖 소식입니다. 최근 미국 기독교인들은 종교 자유가 심각히 공격당하고 있는 것으로 느끼고 있습니다. 종교의 자유를 위해 싸우는 사람들은 5년 내에 종교의 자유가 사라질 수 있을 것으로 보고 우려하고 있는데요. 미국에서 전해온 소식입니다.
You've probably felt Christians are under attack more than ever before in the U.S. Now those fighting back have evidence it may actually be worse than you feared. They recently gathered in the nation's capital to sound the alarm.
We've actually had the calls to our office requesting, representation have increased by over 400% since that Supreme Court decision on same-sex marriage.
We were founded by men and women fleeing religious oppression and coming to this land to avoid precisely what is happening now.
Religious rights lawyer Kelly Shackelford heads up the Liberty Institute. It compiles a list each year of new religious hostility cases reported in America. 2 years ago, it totaled 1,600 cases.
Just in the last 2 years alone, that has increased by over 133%.
These folks on the battle's forefront warn much more is on the line here than a few people's religious sensibilities getting bruised.
The founders called religious freedom our first freedom for a reason. They knew that if you lost religious freedom, you'll lose all your freedoms. So when you see this explosion of attacks on religious freedom, it's a sign that your country's in trouble.
So much trouble, Shackelford's making a dire prediction.
I've been doing this for over a quarter century. We're either going to lose religious freedom or we're going to save it in the next 5 years.
Most of these attacks come from people who feel Christianity is so intolerant, some of its practices must be suppressed. But Shackelford thinks it's these attackers showing intolerance.
I think when you see these things happening, it's because somebody's intolerant, they don't respect religious freedom, and they think that they want to use the power of the government to force somebody to violate their conscience and faith. I think most Americans believe that's wrong, and it is.
Ironically, the very thing being suppressed is what this Christian lawyer says could save the nation.
The true answer, if you're going to turn your country around, is religious expression, is people sharing the truth that changes lives and that could change the whole country.
Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
Houstonians have strongly rejected the ordinance, with more than 60% voting against it.
It's one of those moments in time that you stand up and say enough is enough is enough.
A diverse coalition of city pastors opposed the ordinance. Its non-discrimination language on gender identity would have allowed men in women's bathrooms. Equally concerning, what it would have meant for Christian business owners opposed to same-sex marriage.
That baker is going to have to bake a cake for the same-sex couple.
We're talking about an ordinance that will criminalize, would put someone in jail or force them to lose a business just because of their faith.
Local pastors have been fighting the ordinance for more than 18 months. When the city council first approved it, the pastors organized a signature drive to put the issue on the ballot. The city's lesbian mayor then declared the signatures invalid and subpoenaed the pastors' sermons when they sued the city.
Every battle was like the intention of the city hall just to quiet the people's voice down and intimidate and show themselves to be the stronger, most powerful force in the city.
But the Texas Supreme Court overruled the city and ordered the measure to go on the ballot so the people could vote. It's a crushing defeat for Mayor Annise Parker. She rallied support for the ordinance from the president, Hillary Clinton, and corporate giants like Apple. Her allies raised millions, outspending opponents roughly 3-1. It's also a major loss for gay rights activists nationally, as outside sources poured in close to $3 million to support the measure. Voter turnout may have made the difference. Early voting numbers doubled compared to the last local election. Heather Sells, CBN News.